has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's pain-free Friday. Ferrall's going out, minutes on the mahogany, waxing it up. 100, 200, the bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake it up, do that. Along with the President's Cup official MC, Carver High this afternoon. You know he's going to be dealing out some tutties on the weekend as well. Mafia running it with Jake, I am not your father. In for Luke, I am your father. Who's at the wedding. Drinking and thinking, and yelling and screaming and spending and laughing and hurling and talking and shot a beer and banana, shot a beer and banana, shot a beer and banana, shot a beer, puke. It is a Friday C2C. The lineup. We got Morency, a double shot from Vancouver this very hour, plus Charlie home from the Smiley Show to talk to Carver High, and Gino Bacola. I am Gino B. What does he call himself? At I am Gino B. Anyway, from Daily Racing. What? It's me, Gino B. Your boy with his Eagles pick. From the Daily Racing Forum, talking ponies and picks. At 4 o'clock in the second hour, Terry Bowden, the legendary coach, joins us to talk college football. And also Dr. Zhivago, allegedly in the second hour. Dr. David Chow from Sports Injury Central joining us on a Friday. We got Brian Daboll going on at Wrigley. It doesn't matter, though. It has no bearing on anything. It's absolutely the family and friends special with the Reds and Cubs in the bottom of the third, scoreless. Very exciting stuff, I got to tell you. Carver, give me an update from Quebec. From what I'm seeing, it is an all-day long bloodletting of the Americans. They are getting their ass spanked. Thank God they finished day one 5-0 because they're down in all 5 matches today.
They certainly are here on a Friday. Day 2 of the President's Cup going on right now. All 5 matches are out on the course. And opposite of yesterday, the United States ends up taking all 5 matches. Today, the international team looking very good so far. Hideki Matsuyama and Sunjae Im, they are 5 up through 9 against Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. Adam Scott and Taylor Pendrith 2 up on Morikawa and Tagawa through 8. Jason Day and Christian Bezuidenhout 1 up through 7 against Harman and Homa. Corey Connors and Mac Hughes, the all-Canadian team, are 3 up on Finau and Clark through 6. The only match that the internationals are not winning right now is Scheffler and Henley against Ben An and Siwoo Kim, which is tied through 5. So the internationals right now, if it ended where it is, would make significant inroads after being down 5-0. If they could ever get this from 5.5 to 4.5, that would really be a massive day for them, of course, heading into the weekend and make the President's Cup extremely tight here, Scotty. So a little bit more gas from the crowd today, a little bit more excitement, and we'll have our eyes on this. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think they would get blown out today. I didn't think they'd win all the matches, but I did play a couple of guys on the international side today, Scotty, including Connors and Hughes, the all-Canadian team. I got a good price on them against Finau and Clark. So there is a few of those international pairs that I am rooting for throughout the afternoon here to go to the window with. USA had a big lead. Might as well try to come back a little bit and go to the window with the international squad.
What a travesty. The turncoat, Carver High, flipping over to the foreigners. I just am not happy.
Anyway.
I don't want to.
They'll win anyway. It's all fine. And that's probably not a complete family and friends because it is the final businessman special Friday afternoon Wrigley game, and people probably just went there just to get torn up, right? I mean, the last chance to go hang out at Wrigley in the bleachers. on a Friday afternoon. I think people just go to get torn up. So I'm sure that they're having themselves a good time, even though the game, as you mentioned, means
listen, time
absolutely
out. I got 5 left. Let me just say this. So I've been there 1,000 times. I've literally been to 1,000 games at Wrigley Field. And I want to say that when you live, I'm just going to say it, when you live in New York, and you live in New York City and you go to baseball games at Yankee Stadium, the old one or the new one, and you go to even Mafia going to Citi Field, and let's say a playoff atmosphere, and even, I'm going to say this, when I lived in LA, Dodger Stadium as well, you go to those places, and I'm going to, right here, level it. It makes Wrigley Field just non-existent. It doesn't even matter. It's just like the biggest burp. It's like having heartburn. Like, honestly, I don't have any interest in it. Like, I've been there so many times, and I used to think, what a gem this place is. What it really is an old dump. And it's like Fenway, an old dump. You can talk about how great it is, and it's not. It's uncomfortable. It's a dump. It's old, and I get it. Let's keep Wrigley Field and Fenway Park open until after World War VII. They're going to try to keep these ballparks open. It makes no sense to me. Even the Yankees figured it out. They can make way more money if they build a new stadium. That's what they did. And the same thing's happening in the Bronx that it always did. And it's just better. It's better ballparks. That's all there is to it. Dodger Stadium's been around before Christ, and it's better. It is better. Wrigley Field is so small and outdated, and they've renovated. They renovated my ass. They put up awnings. They put up rooftop bleachers. It's embarrassing. It really is. I mean, like, who goes there? You go there once now to see it and like experience it, but I wouldn't go there every Friday to some businessman special. Most people I know in Chicago don't go near it. And I mean it. I live there. I already worked there, lived there, done it twice. I've been in Chicago 5 million times. It's not that exciting. And the other place is absolutely a morgue. The White Sox Stadium's a morgue. That's where they put the bodies. When the homicide and the coroner come by and pick up the bodies, they dump them off at the south side where the White Sox play. There is no interest in that place anymore. I don't care what anybody says. It's lame.
Well, a lot of history and tradition at Wrigley Field on Fenway Park. They've played a lot of baseball games in those stadiums.
They won once. They won once.
They did win once. So we have that. Of course, we'll do all the baseball. We'll get you caught up. Everyone in action tonight. Everyone else, I should say. Playoff races. Final weekend of the regular season. Of course, except for potentially that Monday doubleheader between the Mets and the Braves, which we'll have. Heading into the playoffs, which will start on Tuesday. Thursday night football last night, week 4 NFL starts.
How'd I do with that spread there?
Let's just say this. When they sent that guy Aubrey out to kick that field goal at the end, after Michaels and Herbstreit basically told you 600 times he's the most automatic kicker in the league, 50-plus he never misses, no shot that he's going to miss this. Sure enough, he misses. And everyone that had Giants 5.5 or 6 goes to the window, Scotty. Everyone goes to the window.
Now remember, it was automatic. There was no way.
Automatic.
No way could the Giants win a game. Fair enough, they didn't win the game. But I'm not in the business of winning games. I'm in the business of hitting spreads. That's what we're here for. On the, SportsGrid. It's better, smarter to be on SportsGrid, right? Because of the betting angle. We're here for the betting angle. That's what we're here for. We're here for no other reason whatsoever. And I had the Giants in 5.5, and that's it. End of subject, period, mic drop. Giants covered. I don't care if the Cowboys win 500 games in a row. They never win the Super Bowl anymore. It's been so long. It's got cobwebs on it.
It certainly has. So we'll go through all of the games for this weekend, all the college games for this weekend. We got some college games tonight, including the U against Virginia Tech. So we have a lot.
Double hit last night. Army in the O. Ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time, I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
All right, so Sports Rage is weeknights at 10, and then on Sunday nights he does the Sunday night football game, I think at 8 East. It's just the most incredible thing. I used to do the football with Morency. It was very popular, and now he does it by himself. It's very popular. But he's also on here every day on Coast to Coast, which is very popular. Oh, we don't have Morency. Oh, the swing and the miss. Carver High, the calamity of the day is progressing. It's a rough progression. So I'm watching the golf with you, and it's a disaster. And then you have turncoated the Americans and gone with the international team today. I'm very concerned about that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I've completely turncoated. Look, I still think the United States is going to win the President's Cup.
Why is that?
I think the United States is going to win. I mean, even though they're losing all these matches today, I think when you get through it and you still have 3 more sessions after today, they're going to be the team that comes out on top. But after losing 5-0 yesterday, a couple of these international groups were going to come out today with a little bit of steam. And when I saw the All-Canadian group with Connors and Hughes going out there at a pretty nice price, which I think was about plus 135, I took my shot with those guys. So I haven't completely turned my back on them, but I also want to go to the window and make some money.
All right, we'll get back to the golf. We have Morency now in Vancouver for a double shot. And I want to get your reaction to the Thursday night game. I hit the Giants in 5.5. That's all I know. I don't really care about anything else.
And the trend continues, Scott, of teams that are getting 5.5 or more points. That's the number, guys. 5.5. Teams that are getting 5.5 or more points are now 14-2 against the spread this year. An unbelievable run of underdogs. It just is. And, last night, once again, the number was bouncing around everywhere. There was 5s. There were 4.5s earlier in the week. There were 6s. It was all over the place. 5 is a strange number, guys. Anytime you see a point spread of 5 in a basketball game or a football game, it means the odds makers are kind of confused. It's sort of like a neutral computer game for them, and a number will often land like it did last night on 5. I thought the Giants played well last night, Scott, but not well enough, right? You've got to convert. You've got to, you can't win just kicking field goals. So there's no moral victories in sports. But with that being stated, the Giants are a terrible organization. Nobody expects anything from them. Malik Neighbors is a baller. I think the Giants showed something last night, Scott, even though they lost the football game. And like you said, hey, they covered the point spread for us.
Neighbors is unbelievable. The numbers he puts up are fantastic. I hit that over. I hit the Lamb over. But he left with a concussion. So
he knocked himself out.
Yeah, that's a concern for me. Like, I don't know about you, but you start getting a bunch of concussions, and the next thing you know, you're Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, you don't want to rack him up. You're right. And so this is the first one of his young NFL career. And as far as Daniel Jones, the Giants, I kind of feel like they're damned if they do. Yeah, but what do you think, Scott? Right, they could get out of this contract. Right, this is it. So this could be the last year for him right now with the New York Giants, and you can't really keep him. I mean, he's been here 5 years, and you're spinning your wheels. And there's excuses along the way because I think he actually is a pretty good quarterback, Scott. So my point is, if you're the Giants, like really, what, you're going to re-up and give him another 4-year deal or something after? No. But if you let him go, he's just going to end somewhere and end up being good, right? So it's one. Like, let me ask you, Scott. Like, you don't think if Daniel Jones was with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota that he could be doing the same thing Darnold's doing right now, winning football games? Right? It's all about where you land. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is perfect and stuff, but he's got skill, bro. He was throwing bullets. He's throwing darts. You know what I mean? He's making good decisions. He's not a bad quarterback. He's been on bad football teams.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. He's been on bad football teams, and he's not the reason that they're losing. Not only that, I thought last night, have you ever seen him better? He was 29 of 40, threw for 281. He didn't have any tutties, but he was on point throwing the football, and he was not to blame for that game last night. The bottom line is what we get here in New York about them is that Daboll has, butchered this team, and that their offense is pathetic and his play calling is pathetic, and he's driving himself off a cliff.
You know what? The defense has been a real positive for the Giants. It's something that people aren't talking about enough. That defensive line is balling. I thought the secondary played relatively well. The Giants, though, the ground game, you're missing Saquon Barkley. Devin Singletary. When it's all said and done, all right, he's running left, he's running right. You got to run forward. They ended up with like 26 yards. That's not Daniel Jones' fault, right? No. It's not Daniel Jones' fault that they've had a horrible offensive line. Think of the circus of coaches, Scott. Hell, when I was there, it's hard to keep up. So you had the dude with the mustache, McAdoo, and then we went into Shermer. Don't forget about Judge Dredd, Joe Judge. If you're Daniel Jones, bro, like imagine having a couple of beers if you're Daniel Jones talking to your buddies about. So who your coaches been, bro, over the years, anyways, in the NFL?
Awful.
Well, yeah, it'd be like he lays it out, and then meanwhile Brock Purdy ends up with Mike Shanahan as Mr. Relevant and goes to the Super Bowl, right? There's something to it, man. Who you're with, it makes a big difference.
Without a doubt, and they're not. It's like, what are they now? 1-3. They're spinning their wheels. That's their second straight home game that they didn't score a tutty.
That's the thing. There's a great line from John Wooden, Scott, the legendary UCLA coach, and he said, "Don't confuse activity for achievement." And I think that was the classic example of the Giants last night. Yeah, great. All right, great. You held them to this. You threw for that. We did this. We lost again, right? We lost. But like I said, they're an up-and-coming team, but they're behind Washington, Scott. Like if you look at like sort of the pecking order here, the Washington Commanders, I've been saying, they look like a football team that's going to own this division in about 2 years.
Win in Arizona on Sunday, Washington?
I think Arizona's going to get them, Scott, but I don't want to lay 3.5. I think it's an not for long league. 1 week you look great, the next week. I don't think they're going on the road from Monday Midwest to the West Coast and winning. No.
All right, we'll get Morenzi's favorite games this weekend.
do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson is going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
I was like a fish today trying to get out of the pool with my stress fracture in my foot or ligament tear.
You're flopping around trying to. You're like a sea lion trying to hop on the.
I tried to get out with the stairs, and I couldn't put pressure on the foot at all because it's like broke. And then I went back in the water, and I was cussing, and there was nobody there to help me. There was like no lifeguard, and I'm flopping around. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll pull myself out. And I got up on the edge of the pool, and I realized how, I'm 235 pounds and I couldn't pull myself out. I could pull myself up, but I couldn't get over the top. So I landed on my belly and I was like a seal laying on the side of the pool. Some old lady walked by me and said, "What's your problem?" She didn't help me at all. She just was like, what's your problem? I'm like, mind your own business, back.
Nobody helps anybody.
No, not at the rich people club.
No,
there's something wrong with him. He's drunk.
That's not the way it works. But you know what? I know it's a big night for you tonight. You're lucky. Well, listen, my Bills are on prime time a lot over the last couple of weeks. It's been cool. But Michigan play at 9 a.m. for me, Friday nights. We like to have a little bit of fun. It's tough, man. These 9 a.m. kickoff starts. But the Miami Hurricanes tonight, guys. And normally I'm not in the mood to be laying, these type of points. And I know it's 19.5 earlier in the week. I see 17.5 now. This Miami team, Scott, they're murdering people. Look what they did to Florida. South Florida, a good football team. Dismantled them. The Miami Hurricanes guys are putting up 600 yards of offense a game. This is a juggernaut. I mean, it's really coming together for them. The Clemson game's going to be massive. But it's really coming together for this team. Everyone wondered about Mario Cristobal, and the team is so good, guys. Cristobal just has to stand there. Just stay out of the way, coach. Let Cam Ward handle this. The offensive line are just dominant. And this is a mediocre Virginia Tech team. Their offense is average, Scott. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up. Miami have shown they don't take the pedal off the metal, and I don't think they will against Virginia Tech. And I love the over 54. I'm going to lay the 17.5 with the Canes tonight. I should have worn the Warren Moon yesterday and the Canes tonight. But I'm going to go with the Canes tonight. And I love the over 54, Scott, because I think the Canes are going to get into the 40s, high 30s. And Tech should give us enough to get there. I'm thinking, 40, 41-21 or something like that tonight. 41-17 Miami. And you know this, Scott. They're fired up. I've been up there before, all right? So I've been to Piscataway. I've been to Rutgers games. I've never been there on a Friday night, and I've never been there when they were good. and I've never been there when they were on Fox TV against the Washington Huskies on a Friday night when they're 3-0 and undefeated. Remember, I told you before the year, Scott, I liked Rutgers over 6.5 wins this year. I got the bet in, and I think they're going to beat the Washington Huskies tonight. The game's basically a pick 'em now. You got Rutgers minus 120 on the money line / -1. I think the Scarlet Knights welcome the Huskies to the East Coast tonight, Scott, and punch Washington in the mouth, bro.
I had Army last night and the over. They both hit. I'm with you exactly on the Canes bet. I did the Canes and the laid it and the over. And then I didn't bet this other game. I didn't bet this Rutgers game because, first of all, you can't bet it here. And I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. In New York, you can't bet on Army. In Jersey, you can't bet on Rutgers.
Oh, you can't bet on Army because Army's in New York. That's right. So you can't.
Yeah, but they'll send them to war. They'll send the kids to war. But you can't.
And the stupidest thing is, guys, think about this. All you got to do, and I know depending on where you are, but so they set these laws up and stuff. It's like, okay, so it makes a big difference if I go through the Lincoln Tunnel on the other side, and now I can do it. I used to see it. I used to see it because I used to go through the Lincoln Tunnel every day. And Scott, there would be people, guys, in the old days, there would be people on the bus. They would literally get on the bus at the Port Authority. It's one stop. Like, there's no stops before, like, Jersey. So you get on the Port Authority, you pop through the Lincoln Tunnel, you pop out. Guys would get off, place their bet, and wait for the bus to come back the other way and go back to the Port Authority. Yeah. I used to do it on the train station, as stupid and crazy as it sounds. I used to get on and go to Secaucus. I'd take the train to Secaucus, play some bets at Secaucus, get on the train, and come back, Scott. What are we doing here? It's ridiculous.
but everyone's done it. I used to drive to the service plazas. What is it? What's the one called? Mafia. I forget the name of it. It's like the big one where they're all at. I mean, there's thousands of people.
Bro, there's a Starbucks in Jersey that made a killing off it. Buddy was like, why am I getting all this business suddenly? Oh, they legalized sports betting. Everyone's placing bets here on the other side of the Hudson.
I did it. Everyone's done it. It's automatic.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right? But I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move. Right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast here on a Friday. Carver High here with you. Of course, we have the President's Cup going on this weekend right now. Big difference from yesterday. USA 5-0 yesterday. Internationals trying to cut into it. Of course, it is always good to have on coast to coast our man Charlie Hume from the Smiley Show, which you see here on SportsGrid. And Charlie, of course, is with us today, courtesy of Ahead. So it's great to have Charlie here. Charlie, good to see you. As always, my man, and to have you while this is going on, because there's a lot of things happening here, and this really changes. When I got up this morning, I started thinking about, all right, it's 5-0, this is going to be a blowout. You know, we're going to get all over Weir for not playing Tom Kim today. We're going to get all over. Charlie, forget it. We're not going to say anything bad about Weir, because here comes the international team. They are fighting back, you could say.
This is so improbable, Mike, because if you look coming into this competition, if you're looking at the three different formats that are played, the 4-ball format, which many know is just better ball, best ball when you play that at home, foursomes format, which is alt shot, which is what they're playing today, and singles. Historically, the internationals actually had a 2-point edge in the 4-ball format that we saw played yesterday. The U.S. swept 5-0. In the foursomes format, the U.S. had a 37-point edge. They'd won 89.5 points to the internationals, 52.5 lifetime. And so to see it happen this way, where Mike Weir elects to play the 4-ball format first, thinking that's going to lead to an advantage, getting blanked on day one, and have the internationals come out the way they've done in alt shot, and they have a chance to go 5-0 in this session. I mean, I'm looking at Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, who have been one of the stalwart U.S. pairings for years, are 7 down through 11 holes right now. They're about to shut this thing down on the 12th hole. It's crazy.
Finished, Charlie. Yeah. It's over. Yeah. That one's completely done. And like you said, that's supposed to be their top thing. Like, that was like a little bit of talk yesterday morning, right? Oh, why they break up Cantlay and Schauffele? Those guys play so well together. They played pretty good opposite away from each other yesterday, and then you put them back together for the alternate shot. I had a feeling, though, Charlie, listen, internationally, they weren't going to come out and roll over in this. Now, I didn't think this would be going on. I thought there was a couple groups today that could get a few points back for them, with Matsuyama and Im being one of them. And I thought, finally putting maybe a couple Canadians together with Corey Connors and Mac Hughes, that might also, especially against what maybe would be perceived as one of the weaker U.S. groups just because of how Max Home has played recently. But I definitely didn't see this. So these odds have changed too, Charlie. I think last night when we left, and it was 5-0, I saw USA at minus 1,800 to win the President's Cup. Basically a done deal. Live right now as we speak, minus 320, which is, I think, Charlie, right about back to where it was pre-tournament. So we're on here, baby. We might have ourselves a weekend.
We really might. And I think the thing to me that's interesting about this competition is heading into it, the storyline was, if the internationals don't win this thing or make this competitive, we have to look at a total format overhaul. We have to look at changing, maybe making it a mixed competition. A lot of people talked about in past years, getting the women involved. We need to maybe talk about changing the number of matches per session to mirror like what the Ryder Cup does, instead of doing a 4-day competition with 5 matches on day 1 and 2, kind of shrinking it to a 3-day. Just a lot of chatter in that sort of direction. And then, of course, you open up with a 5-0 U.S. lead and wonder, okay, coming out of this, we're going to have to fix this thing. We can't keep doing it this way. And I think that psychologically, that has to have some sort of impact on both locker rooms. I think for the U.S., it's you expect to win. You go out, you win in this fashion in the first session, and you're kind of thinking, all right, the Ryder Cup is the one we care about more. It's the more difficult of the two competitions. We can kind of sleepwalk through the rest of this thing and get it done, and we're going to be fine. Now, you've got a real competition going. I mean, I know we saw a little bit of fireworks yesterday between Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim, and that was hopefully going to get things going a little bit, and it didn't happen in that 4-ball or the 4-ball session yesterday. But now it's just pure old competition. It's like, you don't need any of those fireworks because you're getting your butt whooped, and you got to come out and get this thing right, because a loss is going to be tough for them.
Yeah, absolutely, loss will be tough, especially when you come out 5-0 on the first day. If they were ever able to yak this up, that would be miserable. So let's say that this doesn't go well for them here, Charlie. Let's say this ends. Let's say I still think Scotty and Russell Henley are going to find a way to at least get the United States some points, whether that's, I think, a full point, but even just a half point. I think they're going to get him something today. let's say 6-4 going into tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, is more traditional like we see in the Ryder Cup. It splits the day, morning and the afternoon. You're going to get 4 of the foursomes, 4 of the 4 balls going back and forth. Does Furyk now have to kind of go back to what the good sauce was yesterday, which is splitting up Cantlay and the X-Man? Kind of now, I don't think you touched this Scheffler-Henley pairing, which seems to be going pretty good the last 2 days, but he's got to get Keegan back in there, who brought a lot of fire yesterday, split up Cantlay and X-Man. Kind of got to go back to the stuff that worked on Thursday.
Very strange, some of these moves that Furyk made, and you can't completely fault him because you have a 5-0 lead. Now you can kind of, play around a little bit and try some new combinations. And so I think that I don't think he was expecting to lose, close to 4-0 or 4-1 or whatever it is, an alt shot. This was not on his bingo card. So I'd say that I do like what he's done with some of these new pairings. The Scotty Scheffler Sam Burns pairing from the past, Ryder Cup and President's Cup. I know those guys wanted to play together. They're good buddies. It wasn't working. And it seems that we found a new partner for Scotty Scheffler that's a lot more successful in Russell Henley. And I think, to kind of play it forward, this is really interesting because Henley's not a guy that you'd expect to see on a lot of these teams. He played well over the last 2 years to earn his way onto this team. But I think now you're going to hear him in a lot of conversations for the Ryder Cup next year because he's a guy that can play well with Scotty Scheffler. So I think that's a great partnership. But on the other side of that, I think Keegan and Sam Burns were like 9 under combined yesterday, and to bench both of them for this session doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Shopley and Cantlay, you kind of found some different partners for them yesterday as well that were working. And to go away from that, I know they want to play together, but I think after this, you might keep those two guys apart for the duration of this competition. I mean, at least tomorrow, or the last few times they can play together because you have both a 4-ball and a foursome session, four matches in each of those tomorrow. But I think if those guys lose in the fashion they're losing right now, I think both those guys get rested tomorrow in the morning, and you see them back to their old pairings in the afternoon.
I know that we said we weren't going to kill Weir because it's working out so well today, but I still, Charlie, was stunned that he didn't play Tom Kim today. It was still stunning just because he's one of the youngest guys. He could play all 5 sessions. He was the only guy bringing fire yesterday, trying to get the crowd pumped up. Why the hell did you sit him today? But again, it's working for him, so it's hard to criticize.
It didn't make any sense to me either. I mean, Smiley and I were recording our journal last night when these pairings came out, and I was stunned. I cannot figure out why you bench a guy that, in this competition, when you have less depth than the Americans, you got to kind of use the full extent of that roster and get a guy like Tom Kim in as many sessions as you possibly can. But hey, I mean, I saw Tom Kim walking around in like a cool-looking bucket hat earlier. They got Minwoo Lee out in like an international hockey jersey, pumping up the crowd. And that's the other thing that's worth stating. It was pretty subdued on the ground yesterday in Montreal. Not a ton of fans there for whatever reason, maybe just because it was a Thursday early on. And I think the internationals really kind of were hurt for not having as much fan support as they could have to bolster them in this competition. I mean, we were talking about it like, this thing should be in Australia every year because they're going to show up. They're going to be drinking their Fosters, getting after it. So I think that today, having that fan energy in a much bigger way, and then having guys like Tom Kim and Minwoo to pump them up, even though they're not playing, it's helped a lot.
I got about 20 seconds left, Charlie. So Sunday afternoon, it's starting to look like we're going to have ourselves something, but you still think the U.S. is going to win. You're not going to go against it. USA is still going to win.
I still think USA, like, let's call it 16-14, I think is where we end up.
I like 16.5, 13.5 because I played that as an exact winner. So 16.5 to 13.5
I like it.
Very nice at 11-1 if we could somehow bring that home. Charlie, great stuff. As always, we will, of course, catch you and Smiley with the journals on The Smiley Show. Thanks to Ahead for the support here, having Charlie on. Great job, as always. President's Cup, coast to coast. We're back on the grid right after this.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
All right, Carver High, your boy Charlie's about to have another baby, his wife. So he's under a tremendous strain. And then the golf betting on top of that, it's just stressful. It's
very stressful, the golf betting. The golf betting's very stressful. And this is now giving the weekend a little bit of juice here with this international comeback on Friday. Suddenly after, yesterday I thought, there'll be no need to turn on the President's Cup this weekend. But now I might have to find a TV for it downstairs during football on Sunday to see them come down the stretch with all those singles matches to see who's going to win. So I love the President's Cup. Let's go. Let's get you to some of this stuff from last night, Scotty, and then after you talk to everybody else, we'll start to dive into the games this weekend. Of course, the Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. Giants couldn't find the end zone. They did kick 5 field goals. Not enough. You got to eventually score a touchdown, which they couldn't do. Cowboys were able to score a couple of touchdowns, including for the first time this year, Scotty, finding CeeDee Lamb on a long play for Dak Prescott on Westwood One Sports. Well, we'll get the CeeDee Lamb touchdown there in a little bit, Scotty. Either way, big performance by the Cowboys. They needed it badly. And a nice job by them to kind of quiet everybody down there after a couple awful performances at home.
Well, he had a huge game again. It's like, you wonder why these teams seriously don't go to him. I mean, this is the guy he gave all the money to. Give him the ball. Same thing I said yesterday. Neighbors, the only player that matters on the Giants, give him the ball. And, they don't throw to him enough, in my opinion. Especially at his age. This is the time. What are you waiting for until he's 35? I mean, honestly, this is why they'll fire Dayball. I mean, eventually they're just going to, and then the other one, Shane, all of his terrible moves. I mean, they're just getting judged by the minute by Mara. That's all there is to it. And Dallas, meanwhile, figured it out. Throw the ball to Lamb, score touchdowns, win the game. He threw 2 tutties. And it was another win for Dak over the Giants. He owns them.
I'm still going to play this now that they have it because I always like giving you the Birdman. I mean, the Birdman did the Westwood One call last night for the Giants and the Cowboys, so we still got to get the Birdman in the mix here. Here we go.
Deuce Vaughn is now in there. New set of downs to work with. Prescott will throw it. Left side. It's caught by Lamb. Breaking away. Lamb. Goodbye. Touchdown, Cowboys. Lamb is explosive.
The Birdman.
I saw a car today with that Newhouse School of Communications sticker on it, and I thought of the Birdman and his kid. And all the other people that I know that went there, I really don't like as a group, as a whole.
I know you don't like a lot of them. I know.
Listen, they have this, I guess, obviously they have a good, broadcasting school, and obviously there are other great schools of broadcasting and journalism in this country, and Northwestern, Indiana, Missouri, they're all phenomenal, and some of the greatest TV talent in the history of the medium has gone to them. And then the only one they ever talk about is that one. Meanwhile, going to school there is like going to Siberia.
It
is honestly, I wouldn't go there to school if you paid me. People always, and remember at CBS we were there and everyone, literally 90% of the people went to Syracuse and we had to listen to that crap every time they played a game like they matter in anything. What do they matter in? If they didn't have Melo, they would have never won anything ever.
Ever, indeed. Here's Dak on the much-needed win for the Cowboys last night.
It was huge. Yeah, after obviously losing 2, especially at home. Coming on the road, first division game. Division wins are always tough. As I said, then you add on the road. Before a long weekend, puts a better taste in our mouth. But at the end of the day, as I've said, even after those 2 losses, the past 2 weeks, it's a process. So we're not going to get complacent. We're not going to get overexcited about what we've done tonight. It's about building, and it's about figuring out what we can do better in all phases. But it's a lot easier to do that with the win.
Oh, that was certainly a professional answer.
Well, he's a professional guy, Dak. He's very professional. He's got to make sure he gives you a very professional answer. And we're now 2-2, and we're going to get the extra rest. And we're going to. Is this guy serious? This Brian Harmon? Jason Day hits one into the hospitality tent over here on 11, and you figure, all right, here we go. United States finally going to win a hole from these guys if they just put the ball on the green. So what does Harmon do, Scotty? He hits it in the hospitality tent right behind Jason Day. What are we doing out here? Can we focus a little bit, guys? All right, I know they all probably got hammered last night after going up 5-0, but please, we need to get ourselves straightened out up there at Royal Montreal. Let me quickly slide in for you, Brian Dable. I remember I told you yesterday, what'd they lose to them last year? 40-0, 49-17. They lose again, Scotty, but they made some improvement. They only lost by 5.
How you're playing in this rivalry?
Yeah, again, the result stinks. But I thought there was improvement. I think there's been continual improvement at the results. Again, last week we got the result we wanted. This week we didn't, which is hurtful. It hurts. It's painful. You work your butt off. We had a good short week. But we played the game, the way we needed to play it. Just missed out on a couple things. I would say we just, we got to do a better job in the run game. And that starts with me. But, we tried a variety of things. We couldn't really get much going.
It starts with you. Just stop. It starts with you.
Starts with him.
I got to do a better job coaching. Oh, just please. I can't take it anymore. You know what? He sounds like a broken record every time they lose.
Unfortunately for him, he's right about what, that team got gashed on the ground the last 2 weeks. The Saints and the Ravens shoved the ball down the Cowboys' throat, and the Giants couldn't do anything on the ground game last night. Very unfortunate for them. 3 significant injuries out of this game. You mentioned one earlier, Neighbors with the concussion, Micah Parsons, high ankle sprain, DeMarcus Lawrence will miss multiple weeks with a foot injury. So some very significant injuries off of the Cowboy-Giant game.
Listen, Lawrence has nothing on me when it comes to foot injuries. So I have agony foot injury right now, agony. All I know is concussion, Neighbors worries you. Parsons, the foot. I'm hearing it's his foot. I didn't hear anything about his high ankle. I just heard he had injured his foot. I don't know. Is that what it came back today? A high ankle sprain?
High ankle sprain is his diagnosis.
Those are the worst ones. Those are the worst kinds.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
So I did give him love on the air on not only I think it was Monday or something I did it, but then on my app as well. We did a show where I talked about it's me, Gino Bacola of Daily Racing Form, joins us every Friday to get us ready and tune us up with the best races around ponies and tracks in the country. And then he always likes to flip a burger and go with a NFL Pain Day bet, and his Eagles play at +3 in New Orleans was a moneymaker for everyone. He's going to do it again today, but he always likes to start with where do we find all of the insight and skinny on the ponies, and he gives us that site to start it off and then tells us where he's going to pick his races this weekend.
Yeah, we flipped you the bird last week is what we did, Scott, and
yes.
We got a winner there. So make sure you head to shop.drf.com. That's where you want to go to get all the products, all the stuff that you need to research and to get prepared for the races. And we actually have a special site just for all the SportsGrid viewers out there. Go to drf.com/SportsGrid and use the promo code SGTF24, and you can get a free card of some of these graphics that we're going to look at in a minute, some of the horses that we like this weekend. So we'll go from coast to coast this weekend, a couple out at Belmont and Aqueduct, and then it's a massive day at Santa Anita. So we want to get you a few out there. Let's start on the East Coast at Belmont at Aqueduct. We have 2 plays over there for you. First one's going to come in race number 6. And I'm going to look at the number 5 in here, Truly Quality. This is a race where I think the horse to beat is a horse who's a deep, deep closer. And it looks like Truly Quality, who's an up-and-coming horse, can get a perfect setup in here. A horse who just always shows up, gives a really good account of himself, and should offer us a nice price at 6-1. So that's the first one over at Belmont, Scotty.
And then what's the 11th race you got going?
Yep. We got one more at Belmont at Aqueduct. That's going to be the number 5. So 5s are going to be the number for us at Belmont at Aqueduct. That is Concord Green, who came from way out of it in the debut, but was really impressive. He's only run one time, and it was visually extremely impressive. He's 4-1. Dylan Davis had a fantastic Saratoga meet. He'll be up for the ride. So Concord Green, the second play at Aqueduct. Let's bounce over to Santa Anita. It's the California Crown Day. It's the first inaugural California Crown. It's going to be a big event, live music. They're going to have all sorts of great food and drinks. It's going to be like a party on the track, but we're also going to have
that. They used to have like a brewery. They used to have like that a beer festival.
The infield's open. It's an absolute blast. It's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually right now at mom and dad's house. I'm in my old bedroom because that's 5 minutes away from the track where I'm heading tomorrow. So I'm looking forward.
I saw the Dodger pennant behind you.
Yep. This was where I grew up my whole life. So at Santa Anita, the big races start in there we go, right back there. Yeah, go Dodgers, as we were all partying, popping some champagne last night with Ohtani. Absolutely.
Slow down. How's Freddie's ankle? You lose.
Good. I'm excited. We clinched last night. So
did we.
Santa Anita, we got 2 for you. 7th race, the number 3. This is a horse that's actually a French bred. I know you like to head out to France and get into some mischief out there. Devon Propos is the 3 horse here. Should be able to sit a really nice trip. I think Timeform US and I disagree a little bit, because I feel like Devon Propos will be able to sit much closer early on. 6-1 on the morning line there. And we've got one more for you. The big race at Santa Anita is the $1 million California Crown. That's going to go as race number 9. And in that one, I'll look at the number 2, Subsanador. He's 5-1 on the morning line. He recently changed barns, and in his second start for the new barn, it felt like they really figured him out. So he's 5-1. I think he's going to sit right behind the Baffert horses who go to the lead. Subsanador, 5-1 in race number 9 at Santa Anita on Saturday.
So when you go out there, it's so different than Del Mar with the mountains and everything. Which one? Well, they're both so beautiful. One's an ocean spot, and the other one's a mountain spot. But Santa Anita is so kick-ass. It's not even funny. They've had to drive me home from there. I've had to be helped home.
My mom and dad met each other at the racetrack. My mom used to sell the digest out in front at Santa Anita. My dad was a DJ and gambler. He'd come in every day. He'd flirt with her. And finally, one day, he had a great day. He told her before, I'm gonna win. This horse is gonna win, and you're gonna come out on a date with me later tonight. And I'm very lucky that was a good day for my dad. And it's gonna be lucky for us this weekend when we play the Colts money line, because I think Pittsburgh matches up. I think the Colts match up well for a few reasons. They can run the ball and the offensive line, so they can sort of negate what Pittsburgh does really well, getting after the quarterback. Let's lean on Taylor. Let's let Richardson run the ball a little bit. Don't put it in his hands too much, Scotty. Let's see if we can get the Colts home on the money line.
I think the Colts is a good play this weekend. I think everyone and their brother's betting the Steelers. I went to the Steeler-Charger game, but I'll tell you, I got news for you. You don't run on the Steelers. They
when everyone's zags.
And they don't let no one run on them either.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Frou has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The Early Line, only on Sports.